At the beginning, we witness a group of police officers entering a building. Inside, they discover the presence of a ghost. When they attempt to open a door, their hands become frozen. Eventually, they manage to break through and enter a meeting room, only to find that everything and everyone inside is frozen in ice, except for a moving iron ball. Curiosity leads the officers to touch the ball, resulting in the sudden demise of everyone present. The ball turns out to be the embodiment of the ghost, with two glowing eyes. The scene then transitions to 120 years later, where we are introduced to a team of Ghostbusters who are dedicated to capturing and protecting the city from these supernatural beings. While on their way somewhere in a car, they spot a rogue ghost in the city. Phoebe, armed with a laser gun, attempts to control the ghost but fails. Another team member tries to capture it using a device from the car, but their efforts prove fruitless. Finally, Callie, the team leader, cleverly uses a drone to gain control over the ghost. In their pursuit to catch the ghost, they unintentionally cause damage to the road and even have an accident themselves. As a result, they are summoned by the mayor, who expresses concern over the city's damages caused by the Ghostbusters. The mayor warns them that if the destruction continues, their work will be halted. In response, the Ghostbusters argue that they were only trying to save the city from ghosts. However, the mayor remains unconvinced. He insists that Phoebe, who is only 15 years old and deemed unfit for the job, be removed from the team. Despite their attempts to persuade the mayor, he remains firm in his decision. The team then gathers at Callie's house, where Phoebe expresses her disappointment with the group for accepting the mayor's decision. They had temporarily removed her from her group. The Ghostbusters informed her that it would only be for 3 years. Then they would take her on every mission with them. In the basement of Callie's house, they had constructed an entire pipeline to trap ghosts. They were about to place their captured ghost here, but suddenly the machine stopped working. Callie and her partner struggled to operate the machine and eventually succeeded, ensuring that the other ghosts remained trapped. After the scene ended, we were shown a shop where ghost-related items were being sold. A boy had come to sell the same metallic ball that we had seen in the first scene of the movie. As the shopkeeper began examining a ghost inside the ball, an earthquake suddenly shook the shop. Everything started falling. Even the machine to check the ghosts broke. The ball remained where it was. The table beneath it shattered and the ball fell. The power of the ball also affected Callie's house, where ghosts were imprisoned in pipelines. This was where Callie's other partner was attempting to capture a ghost in her house. Just as the boy began to catch the ghost, it slipped past him, outsmarted him, and escaped. He quickly informed his team about the ghost's escape, and everyone went to capture it, leaving Phoebe alone there. Poor Phoebe. As she started playing chess, she noticed that the ghost was playing chess with her. At first, Phoebe felt strange, but now, if she didn't have friends, even these ghosts would be enough, so she continued to play. Surprised, the ghost appeared in front of her and asked, "Are you not afraid of me?" Phoebe replied, "It's part of my daily job." Anyway, the next day we see that Callie had called a ghost engineer to her house to fix her ghost pipelines. The engineer notices her pipelines and mentions that there was a previous attack in that area. However, she reassures everyone that she has created a new base for ghosts. They conduct research on ghosts and even capture them using the pipelines. The Ghostbusters find this process fascinating. The ghost engineer then presents a machine to the Ghostbusters, explaining that any ghost placed inside it will have its ghostly form extracted by the machine. The machine then captures the ghost on its own. Impressed by this demonstration, the Ghostbusters return to their headquarters, where they receive a new mission to capture another ghost. Meanwhile, the ghost engineer is seen placing a powerful ball into his machine, which was shown at the beginning of the movie. The ball's energy is revealed to be dangerous as it activates the machine, releasing a small ghost instead of capturing it. When the ghost engineer tries to catch the ball, his hand freezes along with the machine. At the same time, Phoebe, who is at a restaurant trying to capture a ghost, realizes that it is the same ghost she had played chess with earlier. Despite her attempts to capture it with a laser stick, the ghost manages to escape, causing significant damage to the hotel and resulting in Phoebe being prohibited from catching ghosts. Disheartened, she returns home only to find the ghost waiting for her. As they converse, Phoebe discovers the ghostly pipelines in her house, which she reveals belong to her grandfather and are used to contain ghosts. During their discussion, the ghost that emerged from the metallic ball communicates with another ghost named Melody, who promises to help him through Phoebe. It's evident that Melody's repeated appearances in front of Phoebe are no coincidence. The ghosts seem to be planning something big together. Meanwhile, Phoebe's colleague is still trying to catch the elusive green ghost. However, their plans are interrupted when their house suddenly shakes. Upon investigation, they discover that someone tried to freeze and break their ghost pipeline. Over at the ghost base, the ghost engineer demonstrates to his colleagues various experiments involving a metal ball. When the ball is burned, it freezes instead of melting, and it attracts all the ghosts like a magnet. This powerful discovery prompts them to seek out the man who sold them the ball. The man reveals that it belonged to his deceased grandmother and leads them to a room filled with old soldiers' belongings. They also takes him to their lab for testing, discovering that his emotions affect the flame behind him. Phoebe, along with the shopkeeper who used to deal with ghosts, is concerned about the metal ball's powers. They learn from the shopkeeper's assistant about a YouTuber with a ghost library who might have information about the ball. Upon showing the YouTuber a picture of the ball, he recognizes the ancient language inscribed on it and offers to translate it for them using a book he possesses. These individuals have just discovered, through translating the language of the ball, that there is an incredibly powerful ghost residing within it. This ghost goes by the name of Garaka and was once known as the Ice King. A king from another world summoned this Ice King to help him rule over the world. Initially, the king succeeded in his endeavors, but his greed got the better of him. He desired to capture Garaka and claim his powers for himself. Witnessing the king's selfish actions, Garaka became furious and froze the entire army in a fit of rage. His anger had grown to such an extent that he could now potentially destroy the entire world. To save the world from this impending doom, a fire master stepped forward. This fire master possessed the ability to control fire and ultimately managed to defeat Garaka. The Ice King was melted and imprisoned within the ball. From that point on, the fire master took on the responsibility of protecting the ball. He also plays the recordings of Garaka to them. As they listened to the recording, a red-colored ghost suddenly appeared and took control of their instruments. This mischievous ghost swiftly gathered all the recordings and threw them into the trash can. The group immediately chased after him in an attempt to retrieve the recordings, but he managed to escape with the trash bag. Upon exiting the building, they encountered the red-colored ghost once again, this time in the form of a lion statue. Before he could attack them, Phoebe used her electric gun to strike him, shattering the statue. Unfortunately, this resulted in the destruction of Garaka's recording. As a consequence, Phoebe was arrested by the police once more. Due to Phoebe's mistake, the entire Ghostbuster group now faced punishment. The mayor declared that no more Ghostbusters would be allowed to operate in the city. Callie's house, where the group used to imprison ghosts, was sealed, and the police took control of all the Ghostbusters' laser guns. Ray, the library owner, informs Nadim that you were the fire master, and it was your duty to protect the ball. You shouldn't have sold it. Because of that, Garaka has now gained immense power. Before Garaka causes any harm, the owner must discover and harness his own powers to control the ball. However, the man is unsure of how to do this, as he has never done it before. To his surprise, when he points his finger at a burning fire, he realizes that the fire moves according to his gestures effortlessly. This revelation astonishes him. Meanwhile, Phoebe, feeling guilty for causing trouble for her group, encounters Melody, who offers her solace. Phoebe expresses her belief that she always makes mistakes and considers herself to be bad. In response, the ghost reassures her that this is not true and invites her into her ghost base to witness some magic. Phoebe shows Melody a machine that separates a person's soul from their body. However, the ghost admits to taking advantage of Phoebe's kindness and apologizes. As she says this, dark powers are released from the metal ball, which ultimately possess Phoebe's body and soul. These dark powers belong to Garaka. Chaos ensues as the people from the ghost base arrive and attempt to attack Garaka with their laser guns, only to find that he has already neutralized them. Before they can capture him, Garaka escapes. Callie manages to heal Phoebe by reuniting her soul with her body. Meanwhile, Garaka goes to the house of the Fire Master, where he had been imprisoned for many years. There, he retrieves his horns, which restores his powers. As he aimed to freeze the world once more, his objective was to bring the world to a standstill under his command. In the meantime, a snowstorm had engulfed the entire world, covering the air and roads with snow. Witnessing the city's dire situation, all the Ghostbusters assembled at the ghost base. The owner of the ghost library informed them that Garaka was responsible for the snowstorm, and only a fire master could subdue Garaka. Fortunately, they had located the fire master, who demonstrated his ability by lighting a candle without a lighter. Despite this display of power, the Ghostbusters remained skeptical. They informed the ghost engineer that they required laser guns, which had been confiscated by the police. The ghost engineer then presented them with state-of-the-art suits and laser guns, enabling them to combat the ghosts effectively. However, their efforts were thwarted by the arrival of the Red Ghost, who had the ability to control machines at Garaka's command. Before they could react, the Red Ghost used a high-tech car to attack a Ghostbuster with a laser. Just as the Ghostbuster's partner was about to fall victim to the attack, the Fire Master redirected the laser with his powers, saving the Ghostbuster. In retaliation, the group unleashed their lasers on the Red Ghost, causing it to retreat into a pizza. A Green Killer's ghost, trapped in his own home, devoured the red ghost along with the pizza. Only one ghost remained. To confront the remaining ghost, Phoebe ventured into her basement, where the ghost expressed remorse to her. Phoebe advised the ghost that there was another path, one of goodness. She questioned the ghost's decision to cause chaos in the world, leading to the freezing of the entire world and its inhabitants. Now, as the conversation continued, Garaka suddenly burst through the wall and entered the room. The Ghostbusters wasted no time and unleashed their lasers on him, but Garaka managed to break and freeze their lasers. It turned out that Garaka had broken the pipeline that contained the imprisoned ghosts. With the pipeline broken, all the ghosts escaped and started causing havoc throughout the city, terrorizing the already frozen people. Before Garaka could cause any more destruction, Phoebe's friend stepped forward and lit a matchstick, signaling the arrival of the Fire Master. Using his powers, the Fire Master intensified the flames and launched an attack on Garaka. The continuous assault weakened Garaka, prompting the Ghostbusters to join forces and attack him with their lasers. Eventually, they managed to gain control over him. To fully control Garaka, one of the Ghostbusters instructed him to turn on the ghost pipeline, which had already been broken. Against all odds, when they turned it on, it miraculously started working again. The machine successfully trapped Garaka, along with numerous other monsters. As Garaka was imprisoned, his powers began to diminish, and the snow started melting away, restoring the world to its normal state. Phoebe's friend, who played a crucial role in defeating Garaka, approached her and admitted that she was right. Goodness can lead to freedom. She had now found her freedom in the afterlife, leaving this world behind. When the Ghostbusters emerged from their ghost base, they were greeted by the entire city, standing in appreciation for saving their lives. Even the mayor, who initially disliked the Ghostbusters, had no choice but to praise them publicly and grant Phoebe permission to work with her team. With this victory, the group of Ghostbusters couldn't be happier. However, they knew that their work was far from over. They had to catch all the ghosts that were freed when Garaka's pipeline was attacked. And with that, the movie concludes.